The following show is a Pod Avenue production. You are cordially invited to have dinner with the King. Pull up a chair and join WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler and Glenn Moore. Enjoy.
Welcome to episode number 52 of Dinner with the King. I'm Glenn Moore, joined here. What?
What?
I heard something. Is that you?
That was me. I was just went, oh, episode number 52. I started going, yeehaw! But it didn't. Okay, start over.
Yeah, all right. Start in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to episode number 52 of Dinner with the King. I am Glenn Moore, joined here by a WWE Hall of Famer, a man that doesn't even sell for death, Jerry the King Lawler. Jerry, how are you feeling today?
I do not sell for death? Is that what you said?
You don't sell for death twice. Kicked out. You're like a cat. You have 9 lives.
Yes, I guess. So now I got 7 left. That's good. 7
left. You have a lot more time to do the things you like to do. How has the reaction been? I mean, we've seen national media coverage over you saying that you had the stroke 4 weeks ago. Today on this recording this here on a Wednesday morning. The New York Post covered it. We had WWE put out a post about it. A lot of, obviously, the wrestling websites talking about it. A lot of people tweeting about it. But I'm sure everybody underneath the sun texted you. Get well soon.
I have had. It's been unbelievable how much response that this thing has garnered, and some of it good, some of it bad. Especially, I've really been hearing it from Lauren, of course, about the different responses that she has had about this situation, and I can understand. I mean, it's like I guess it's a whole different. It's a whole different way of looking at things from a man's point of view than it is from a woman's point of view, and then the other thing, she's gotten how everybody knows how people can be on the internet. I mean, you're faceless and you can say anything you want, and a lot of times the people will say stuff just to be mean. I mean, there's just so she's gotten a lot of those things, and every day she'll come to me and say, look at this, look what somebody else wrote, and so that kind of stuff has not been fun. But other than that, the response from everybody, wishing me well and asking me how I'm doing, yeah, I mean, it's been really good. Heard from just about everybody on this thing.
Yeah, I know, reading a lot of the comments and people commenting about it. And we didn't say exactly what you were doing, but we gave the PG version, so people just ran with that little piece of information. But a lot of people are saying, King, you should hang it up, King. You should not wrestle anymore. Your health should be number one priority. Or people are saying, King, you shouldn't eat cheeseburgers anymore. You shouldn't be eating all the crap, all the meat and all that stuff. You should be watching what you eat and be healthy. And
did very many people write in and say, King, you should never have sex again or anything like that?
No, nobody said that. And with Lauren, I figured if that'd be like a hit, a little hat tip to Lauren. If I find a woman that gives me a stroke while making love or whatever, I'm going to keep her forever because.
Well. First of all, let me just say, our country is so crazy about I guess having a double standard about sex. I mean, come on, almost everybody has sex. That's why we're all here. Your parents had sex. That's why you're here. And so, but everybody just is like, I don't know. But so maybe we should actually preface it and by saying it didn't happen actually basically while having sex. The stroke happened because I hadn't been taking my blood pressure medicine for about a month, right? And it was gonna happen anytime my blood pressure went to a certain level, And, that was just most people, I guess, when they're, when they're doing something that they really enjoy or something strenuous or something like that, your blood pressure goes up, right?
Right.
So that's what happened. It was about the blood pressure medicine and not taking it. I mean, that's what the doctors all said. They didn't know. We went in there and said, oh, this is caused by having a stroke. I mean, this is what caused you to have a stroke. It was the not taking of the blood pressure medicine, and it went too high, and it caused a hemorrhage on my brain, which is what happens. What did I say? I think my blood pressure was 240 something over 140 something. It was something crazy. So anyway, but then all of a sudden everybody just makes that the big deal all about sex, and it really wasn't about that.
No, it was about the stroke itself. Just happened to be what you were doing at the time when it came about. You could have been wrestling in a ring.
Absolutely.
Some town in Tennessee that this could have happened, or you could have been. I mean, luckily
you could walking up and down a flight of stairs. It just it was just something that raises. I just hadn't been taking the medicine, and then of course I've been back to my cardiologist since then. We did. I was just there just this past Wednesday checking the blood pressure, and it was this was so good, 122 over 74.
You're taking your pills, right?
Yeah, taking my pills on a regular basis now, and really watching that, monitoring my blood pressure, and as long as you do that, and I will once again say what I said last week. I was one of the worst, and I've heard it a million times how your high blood pressure is the silent killer, and I'd heard that, but when they say it's a silent killer, you really don't feel it. You don't know when your blood pressure's that high or anything like that. So I didn't think about it, but now I do. I realize that's a real statement. So I'll tell you, anybody out there that has any blood pressure issues. Oh my gosh! Let me just tell you this. My friend Tom Nunnery, the guy that's on our wrestling show that's on every week on Channel 30. It plays the guitar, and he's been in my, done all the music with me and my band stuff. It was unbelievable. After my stroke, he and I were talking. He comes over to my house and he said, well, he said, I've just been feeling real bad lately too, but I just ignore it and everything. And I said, Tom, you can't ignore that. He was over here. I said, let me check your blood pressure. I put my blood pressure cuff on him, and it wouldn't even read. It just kept going to error. It was so high. It would this thing would go up to over 200 220 before it even started reading, and then it would hit error. And I said, oh wait, something's wrong. Let me unplug this. Let me try it again. I tried it 4 times, and it wouldn't even read. And so later on that day, he went to the doctor, and Tom was one of those guys. He said, well, I don't have insurance, and I don't, I don't have a regular doctor or anything that I go to. And I said, man, go here to the med. Just go to the med here in Memphis. He goes down there, and the doctors say, we can't even let you drive home. You've got to go to the hospital right now.
Wow.
And so they put him in the hospital, and he calls me back the next day, and he says, oh my gosh, this is awful. They're talking about doing open heart surgery on me tomorrow.
Oh my God.
This is crazy, right? And this is all of a sudden, this is from because of my stroke, I'm checking his blood pressure. So then he calls me back the next day. And he said, it's amazing. He said they went in through his wrist and went up in and put two little stents in his heart. And he said, I feel like a new person.
Wow.
And now, it was, this guy was about to die as well, and was not even checking on it, and just knew that he was feeling horrible. And then because of checking the blood pressure, he went in, and he said they were talking open heart surgery. Then it turned out that they were able to do it just like through. He said they didn't even like give him to knock him out or whatever. They didn't even put him under. Didn't even give him any pain. They just put a incision in his wrist, ran these tubes up through there, and boom, put the stents right in his heart. And he was like out of the hospital the next, or maybe I think maybe later that day. Jeez. And now he's doing great. Yeah.
Well, that's the reason why I wanted to do this WrestleMania bet, was to lose weight, and not so I wouldn't have to go through this, 20 years from now when I'm in my 50s. And
yeah, you're right, because that's there's so many things that raise your blood pressure, and part being overweight raises your blood pressure because just takes makes your heart work harder to get the blood throughout your entire body. So yeah, that maybe this will help. It certainly helped Tom Nunnery big time. I mean, and look at you. Who knows?
I got a ton of response from just our little WrestleMania bet, and a lot of emails from people offering encouragement, and some people saying, well, it's going to get me to lose weight and start working out and eating right. So I think maybe I'll start posting some updates on Twitter so people can follow along. And I got an email from somebody in New York who was a personal trainer, and this man, I don't want to say his last name just because for people, but his name is Tom, and he is a retired sergeant from the New York City Police Department, and he's a personal trainer for 20 years. And he says, if you have any questions, or if you need any help, to call him or email him. And he's a lot of encouragement. So if you are looking to lose weight, you can do your own WrestleMania challenge. We can all celebrate
absolutely
WrestleMania together with all her loose clothes. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody listening in and offering encouragement and doing their own way, because have you got
did you like Lauren or me, did you get any like negative comments or just people being jerks about it or anything?
No. I've when I started in sports media 6-7 years ago, you get a lot of those those egg accounts, Twitter accounts that just made an account just to make something, they're too scared to post it from their regular account, and they send you nasty stuff. So I actually had a parody account made after me, and it was Glenn. My Twitter name is Glenn Moore CLE, mm-hmm. and they made a Twitter account named Glenn Moron CLE. Come on, that's not funny.
No, that's not funny at all.
So
not at all.
And their profile picture was a pig.
Oh no!
And he would post.
Yeah, that hurts your feelings, right? It's not good.
It used to.
Hey, listen, and we're going to talk about Mick in just a second, but on the same subject, we had Mick Foley at our club on this past Monday night, and tremendous response and everything. And then later on, Mick and I were downstairs. He was enjoying some peach cobbler with 2 scoops of ice cream on it. But and Mick has lost a lot of weight. He really looks great. But he was enjoying some peach cobbler, and we're sitting there talking, and he was trying to get the Wi-Fi code for inside our club so that he could tweet out some pictures of the induction and all that stuff that we'd done. And so I said, well, don't you just have the can't you just tweet it out from your Twitter account? And he said, no, I don't have a Twitter account anymore or Facebook. He said, I had to get off of all of those things just because of the mean-spirited and negative responses I got from the fans. And he said, I don't handle that stuff well, and I don't blame him. But he said when they had him as being the general manager, there on WWE,
right? He
said you would not believe the comments that would come in on Twitter and Facebook and all of those tweets and all of those things that from the fans, that they actually blamed him for different stuff that was going on there. And he said, I finally couldn't take it anymore. I just got off of it. And that was,
so who handles the social media? He's actively on there though.
Well, but he doesn't have, like, he'll go on and do tweets and stuff, but he doesn't like have a Twitter account to where that he checks on and reads stuff and all that kind of thing.
Okay, so he'll go out and post stuff. He just won't read his stuff.
Right.
Okay, yeah. I mean that's a good. Yeah, good. So this guy that would post photos of a pig at a beach. I was at the beach one day, and he goes, "Oh, look, Glenn's at the beach," and it'd be a pig at the beach. And I think I found out who it was, and I tweeted out like I know who it was, and they stopped tweeting. So I think they were outed. But yeah, there hasn't been any negative reaction to the WrestleMania bet, so I'm happy about that. All positive. So, but I know how.
Good. So people out there, come on, be nice. And I don't care anymore. This is one of the things that I don't know. When I first got on Twitter, somebody said, and I've always kept this in mind: is don't tweet anything that you wouldn't let your mother read, or that you would be embarrassed if your mother read it. Right. And I've tried to keep that in mind, and I think people should be nice. Come on. Yeah, speaking of Twitter too, another thing just the other day, good old JR, hang on. Yeehaw! But anyway, good old JR, I'm not being not mean. He knows that JR knows I love him and everything. But anyway, as a matter of fact, we've got two-man shows coming up pretty soon. One in Nashville, Chicago. Yeah, we're really going to crank out some two-man shows, JR and I. But JR, I think anybody that knows anything a little bit about JR realizes that JR has been a lifelong John Wayne fan. I mean, huge John Wayne fan. He has collected, like me, I collect Coca-Cola memorabilia and superhero memorabilia. JR has collected tons of John Wayne memorabilia. When we do WrestleMania, he had a pair of John Wayne's cufflinks. He's got one of his hats he wore in the movie. He's got just all kind of movie props and different things that are associated with John Wayne over the years. Huge fan. So then, and I'm trying to keep this talking about things about Twitter. Last week, I get a tweet from John Wayne Enterprises. This real official looking site, John Wayne Enterprises. It has the copyright sign on it, and it's run by one of John Wayne's sons. He had two sons, or maybe three sons, but anyway, one son named Ethan Wayne. And so he sends me all of a sudden sends me this tweet saying that just out of the random tweet saying something to me about, hey, big fan of yours or something like that, or wanted to say hi or something. And I see, gosh, this is from like freaking Ethan Wayne, John Wayne's son. And so I tweeted back one of my favorite lines from True Grit, which was one of my favorite John Wayne movie. I tweeted back strong words from a one-eyed fat man, right? And I tweeted that back to this Ethan Wayne guy, and then that started up a conversation. Said my dad would have really loved to have met you, and then I sent back to him. I told him about JR being such a huge fan. And so then he kind of reached out to JR and said, hey, if you and Jerry are ever in California, I would love to, have you over and show you some of my dad's collections, all of his memorabilia, memorabilia and stuff here in California. And so it was like this, this cool. And then JR starts talking to the guy, and then just I don't even know why people do this. And all of a sudden the next day I get a tweet from somebody saying, this Ethan Wayne guy is a phony. It's a guy that just is on there. He just got busted for posing as Jason Momoa, having a Twitter account of supposedly being Jason Momoa, and it's not even a real person. And I'm thinking, why do people do this? Do they just like not have any life or something like that they sit around and go online and pretend to be somebody else? And I don't know what the benefit or what the pleasure they get out of doing stuff like that.
I don't get there's also Twitter accounts like they parody other wrestlers. So for example, like Mike the Miz is on Twitter as a Miz. Someone will make an account, Mike the Miz with 2 Z's. And what they would do is they just copy the bio, they copy the photo, and they tweet like they're Mike the Miz, and people get confused because they don't realize, the blue check mark, make sure that that person's official. And people that spend out their time just tweeting out like they're a fake person, and the people faking they're being a woman, one of the girl wrestlers, and faking like they're Charlotte Flair on Instagram. Like why? Like,
I don't know. I don't get it. And then me and JR says, man, I think this is not a real person. I said, yeah, I got the same thing, but this is under, it's at John Wayne Enterprises. Yeah. I mean, and it's got a picture of John Wayne, and it says the John Wayne Estate trademark on it. And,
you gotta look for that blue check mark, because even though Elvis, was way before Twitter, Elvis has an official Twitter account from the people that run Elvis. So, that's Elvis's estate, or people that have, manager or whatever from Elvis Presley. You gotta look for that check mark, King.
Yeah, it says the only official Twitter account of John Wayne, account run by Ethan Wayne.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. He has 47,000 followers.
Yeah.
So he must have been duping a lot of people then. Well,
I don't get it.
Now his tweets are protected.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm not sure. Do you follow him, or?
Yeah, I was following him.
Okay, so his tweets are only shown to people who follow him, and you have to be approved to follow him. So he must have, when he got outed, or people knew that he was a fake one, he just made his Twitter account. So anybody can make a Jerry Lawler Enterprise, Twitter account and say they're with Jerry Lawler or whatever, and then they can start tweeting out stuff from you. And make it realize that it's from you.
Yeah.
People are stupid.
Yeah, and here he is. I mean, I'm going back through these tweets, and it's like pictures of John Wayne with his real son, Ethan Wayne, and it's got a thing here that says "Me and my dad," and this is the one that he sent to JR's barbecue. And then the first time with my dad on screen, JR's barbecue, and it's got, I don't get it. I mean, Ethan Wayne is a real person, but this guy is obviously, they're saying, is not really him.
Yeah, I don't get it either. People are stupid. People are dumb. People have no time. And like you said, 99% of people on social media are just the worst.
Yeah, so be nice. Come on. Oh, but let me go back and just say this. Let me, and I meant to retweet it, but I didn't. And then I've looked for it since to retweet it. Now I can't find it. But somebody did write sent a tweet about their stroke. They had a stroke too. But they said, let's see, how did it go? I think I can remember, but I said Jerry Lawler has a stroke while having sex and is better in 3 days. He said, I had a stroke while coughing, and I'm still a year into my recovery. Yeah. He said, I got gypped. So I felt bad, but I mean, but it was like, here's a person that just all of a sudden coughs real hard, and boom, it caused a brain bleed. And this person is not right a year later. So, it's just, I realized, when I look at that, it was kind of funny, but by the same token, how really lucky and blessed that I was to get, I mean, like I said, 3 days later, 4 days later, I'm out of the intensive care and have not felt one problem since. So
well, everybody's, a different mixture of atoms and molecules and chemicals, that everybody reacts to things differently, even though we're all made up of the same, basically species. Everybody reacts to different things, and hereditary and all that, the genes handed down for years. It could be, you get well in 3 days and someone takes a year. It's just the matter of the DNA being switched up a little bit, which is incredible. It's very interesting, but We're glad
And
you're
speaking,
okay.
and you know what? Speaking of those things, we just got word this morning that Bruno Sammartino, talk about a legend. Bruno Sammartino just passed away this morning, right?
Yeah, passed away this morning at 82 years old. WWE.com posted it. Vince tweeted about it. Triple H obviously tweeted about it. But Bruno Sammartino, the longest reigning WWE champion of all time.
Wow, that's something.
And they only had 2 reigns, but they were over, I think, 11 years of being champion.
They did not switch the title off of him for like 11 or years and years and years, right?
Yeah, I think one reign is like 8 years, and the other was 3 years. But
Goodness.
yeah, just unbelievable. And we talked about it. I'm more of an old school guy. I don't like the flippy stuff. I'm not into the spots of guys just doing something for a spot. He was like, watching the old matches, a ground and pound guy. He fit the build of a wrestler, or what a wrestler should look like. And some of the matches that he had with like Larry Zbyszko and Shea Stadium, 35,000 people, and selling out Madison Square Garden 187 times in his career. Just astounding facts for Bruno, though.
Well, and having met, that was one of the guys that I, from that period of time, that I never got to work with, never got to be in the ring with Bruno Sammartino. I would have loved to, but he was always up. He was like me. I stayed down in Memphis. He stayed up in the Northeast, and he was not kind of guy that traveled out a whole lot. So I really never got to work with him, but met him several times and talked with him several times, and you could tell. And I think like what you're talking about the style of wrestling, but it wasn't about the style of wrestling that Bruno did. It was about Bruno Sammartino having that it factor. He was able to communicate with the fans, and he just, he had that personality and was given the opportunity to show it every week on TV up there. And the people just could relate to Bruno. I mean, he was the blue collar kind of guy that the fans felt like that he was actually representing them, and that's why he stayed so popular for so long. And really, when you look at it, it's not about the style of wrestling. I mean, it has kind of gone more to that these days, but in the past, it was about the individual that the people followed and got behind the individual and their personality, and that's how. That was the difference in what the business has become now. I read somebody wrote something about I can't even remember it, so I won't even try to get into it. But it said something about, well, they did something, but it really wasn't a good match. It was man, you know what? I swear they were talking about something about Mick Foley. And about the different kind of, the death-defying things and the big, huge bumps and things that Mick Foley took throughout his entire career. And they actually wrote in, but he didn't really have good matches. And I thought, what an idiot! What a thing to say. First of all, what would be this person's what would be their definition of a match? Mm-hmm. I mean, if you really think about it, wrestling, we call them matches, but they're performances, and Micks were unbelievable. So if you're talking about a match, what would make a great match to this person? 2 people going out there and seeing who's really going to win. They're just so off base with some of these things, but that's just the way, that's the way the business has become lately or nowadays with, the moves and that sort of thing. But I think becoming more important than personalities. Yeah. And I really think the WWE and I don't know. I think everybody struggles with that now. It's that, they've almost re-educated the fans, and it's not as much about a personality or a person's uh, uh, as it used to be, So anyway, but to me, Bruno Sammartino was, he was just the kind of guy that he was like a real person that the people really really believed in, and that's why I think he lasted so long.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying that's the kind of style of wrestling that I enjoy watching. I mean, everybody has their preferences. Everybody, likes the style nowadays or what it was in the '90s. I mean, but if I was going to watch an ideal match, that's why I became a fan of yours at an early age after learning about your story, even after, seeing Jerry the King Lawler as a commentator. But, there was nothing flashy. It was what a wrestling match, I think, in my eyes, should be. But also with Bruno, I mean, he was another straight edge guy like yourself. He didn't even like traveling with guys that partaked in things that he didn't want to be around.
Right.
When he traveled, and I guess the reason why that he was away from the business, or it took him so long to be inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame, was because he was not a fan of what the product has turned out to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So kudos to him for sticking with his guns. But 82 years old, passing away this morning in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Man, 82. When you think of that, I mean, I have a tendency to say, well, 82, he had a good life. That's, that seems like a long time, especially to really young people and everything. But then all of a sudden I think, man, I'm 68. And if I make it to 82, that's only 14 more years. So sometimes, people, when people pass away, all of a sudden you think, dang. I mean, the great thing, at least in my mind, I think, I think your body may, of course, but your mind, at least in my case, it doesn't age. I swear, I think I'm 20 years old. My mind thinks that, and so then, but then all of a sudden something like this will hit you, and you go, dang, if I just make it to Bruno's, I got 14 more years if I make it to that age, So, you gotta really enjoy life, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he was a guy that, like I said, he was never did anything, drugs or, he always worked out. He was still working out 6 days a week when he was inducted in the Hall of Fame, 5 years ago. So he was still working out. So I mean, geez, even though you work out and you don't do all the, you're still straight edge. You still have an expiration date.
We all do, unfortunately. You're right.
So.
I've missed a couple of mine, but so I may be like a loaf of bread. I may be my expiration date is long since passed, and I'm starting to get green and moldy. But I'm still hanging in there somehow.
No, you're not green and moldy. I mean, you see guys that are even younger than you look awful, and these are guys that have taken drugs or drank all their lives, and they look terrible, like in their 50s, and you're upper 60s, and you could pass as a 50-year-old, right? I'm not just saying that because I'm your friend, but I'm being honest.
Well, I doubt that's the case, but anyway. But even when you say that all of a sudden, my 20-year-old mind thinks, "Ugh, you can pass as a 50-year-old. That's not good."
Well, I mean, I can't be too nice,
right?
Can't be. Oh, you could be a 21-year-old, King.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work.
No, not anymore. Not anymore. Really quick before we move on, we have two announcements.
And that is?
Well, the first one is we have a guest next week, a return guest.
Oh, boy, yeah. I'm excited.
And we talked about your little quote-unquote match with Joey Ryan last week. So we want to get this man's opinion on what happened between you and Joey Ryan. That man is Jim Cornette.
Oh, boy.
Will be returning on the podcast. So we'll have plenty to talk about with your stroke and with your with the match with Joey Ryan. And the second announcement, you announced it on Twitter the other day, but you have a pro wrestling tee store. So you have 6 T-shirts for sale.
Yeah.
And judging by the reaction on Twitter, people love the design. So those T-shirts are available at prowrestlingtees.com/Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we have that for you. So those are the two announcements.
And I just got asked the other day too about I put up some pictures recently on Instagram, some of my artwork, And so I've been just getting tons of requests for people, wanting me to do commission artwork and stuff like that. And we're getting close to having, I tell everybody, just watch my website, which is, of course, KingJerryLawler.com. And we're going to have a place on there pretty soon, right? I'm asking you, right, Glenn?
You have to set your PayPal thing, and I can update it, and we can put it out there. So you got to do your PayPal on your end.
Well, yeah. So that's going to be coming to the website pretty soon too, where you can get in touch and we can do actual artwork.
So people can, for example, a person wants to email you to do a commission art piece. Obviously, anybody who sends you a message about that is going to have a different price because different amount of work, the size, is different prices, right?
Yes, exactly.
So they would have to give you what they want and the size, and then you can give them a price.
And what we'll do probably as well is we'll give them some examples on the website, like hey, just pen and ink sketch. On an 8.5 by 11, that kind of thing will be X amount of dollars. You want a color sketch or a painting, or we'll have examples of what the different prices will be on there.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So everybody's price will be different. It just matters on what their preference be. Speaking of art, David Arquette tweeted at you about some art.
Yeah, David Arquette wants to do I challenged him to a paint off because I saw David at WrestleMania at the after party, and we were talking a little bit, and then I saw his tweet like a couple days later where he's been going to you remember Bob Ross, right?
Oh, you love Bob Ross. Yeah. Happy trees.
Everybody
happy
trees.
trees.
Happy trees. Well, I guess David Arquette was a big fan of his. And so he saw somewhere where he could go and take a course where you could really learn how to paint exactly like Bob Ross from I guess an official Bob Ross teacher that had, and so I guess David went to this like 3-week course with this guy, something like that. And then David got so enthused over it that he wanted to be a teacher himself. So I think he took some other kind of course now. So now apparently David Arquette is an official Bob Ross type style painting teacher. So and he was talking about the how much he likes that. So I just sort of challenged him. I said, you and I got to have a paint off. And so that's and he accepted. So we're going to figure out how we're going to do this. But the truth of the matter is, I haven't actually seen David's
work.
His work yet. No, I have seen a lot. Oh, you know what? And I'll tell you this. But I had people talk to me some about Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is now really into art, and he's doing all of these.
If you want to call that art, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody sent me a tweet and said, do you do Jim Carrey's art? And I said, heck no. And I said, I thought he must do that stuff blindfolded, because it's like, I mean, but you know what? We were Lauren and I were out in Las Vegas not long ago. He's got his stuff in these galleries in Las Vegas. He's selling his paintings for $15,000 and $20,000 a piece.
Well, his stuff is more anti-Trump too. He posts a lot of anti-Trump.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
He does a lot of anti-Trump artwork. But then he does just a lot of regular crazy looking artwork too. But he sells them for big money. And I don't know. I guess people are buying them just because it's by Jim Carrey. Can't be for the art.
No.
But I want to have a paint off with him as well.
That'd be nice.
But like David Arquette, I've not seen his work yet, so he might be really, really good. But I got a feeling he hadn't seen mine yet either. So
David Arquette's a former WCW champion. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
Ready to Rumble movie.
Ready to Rumble movie. Yeah, I actually sent a tweet out to David to come on the show to talk some art and Ready to Rumble, because the character Ready to Rumble, we talked about it before, has a similar thing to Jerry the King Lawler. So,
yep. And now let me change off that subject to what just came to mind a minute ago when we talked about Jim Carrey, the director of Man on the Moon, our movie, about Andy Kaufman. Me and Jim Carrey and all the Andy Kaufman people. The director Milos Forman just died this past week as well.
Yeah.
And I think he was 82, wasn't he?
Oh, geez, I'm not sure the age of how old he was.
I swear, I believe he was 82 as well.
Another from my childhood. Well, I know he was not that old. 80. He was 86 years old.
Milos was 86?
86 years old.
And I had just, when I was in New York doing the Raw 25th anniversary, Lauren and I had dinner with Michael Hausman. And Michael was the executive producer on that movie and was best friends with Milos. And they worked together on I don't know how many movies, the Larry Flint movie and maybe all the way back to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and all of that stuff. But we had dinner and Michael said, "Here, let me give Milos a call." And he was so funny. We're in this big restaurant and he gets Milos on the phone and it puts him on speaker. And Milos was, I don't know if he's probably a little bit hard of hearing at the time, but he said, "Oh, Jerry, how are you, my friend? Oh, my goodness, it's so good to hear from you." And it's like booming all over this restaurant. And Lauren's like, oh my gosh, please. But yeah, we had the whole conversation with Milos Forman there on the speakerphone in the New York restaurant.
Oh, that's incredible. That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Another person that passed away, Arlie Ermy.
Oh my gosh, I know it. And you know what? We were lying in bed watching a movie of his, I think Saving Silverman or Saving something. I think it's Saving Silverman or something like that.
Yeah.
Where these two guys, the guy from American. Oh gosh, I don't know. Anyway, I can't think of the actors.
American Pie.
American Pie.
Yeah.
And they're saving him, and they kidnap this girl and all this stuff. And the guy you're talking about was in prison, and they go and visit him, and he's telling them, "Oh yeah, you got to kill this girl or kidnap her and kill her," and it was his whole idea. Just watching that the night before, and then wake up the next morning and see that he had passed away.
Yeah. Obviously, Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, unbelievable!
Movie. And also, I think another underrated performance of his was in two of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies in the 2000s. Not the old ones, but the new ones. Yeah. Playing Sheriff Hoyt. I thought he was excellent in those, but his voice very distinct, and obviously a man who served his country and great voiceover guy too. Just man, they say the celebrities pass away in threes when it happens. So the third one I think was about Barbara Bush. She passed away yesterday. Barbara
Bush. Yeah, this is more than three that we're talking about just in the past week or so that we know of. Yeah. Sad.
Not fun.
Well, that's one thing. Younger people that are listening out there, the older you get, that's the one thing you start noticing. People that seems like every week you're either going to a funeral or somebody close passes away. And we had another really close friend of ours, Mr. Clyde, or Comic. His actual real name was Comic Clyde Nick Nahad. But we always called him Mr. Clyde. He was a friend of Brian and Kevin's from back when my kids were in the 8th grade. And then he grew up with them down here in Memphis and then got into the wrestling business. He refereed for us. He wrestled for us. And then later on got into he was a computer whiz. This guy was just amazing, but just a really close friend, especially my son Kevin and mine and Lawrence as well. And he just passed away from colon cancer this past week. He's been sick for a long, long time, but just another good friend of ours that passed away this week.
I mean, when you're in upper 60s and you see Bruno and all these celebrity people passing away. I mean, anything go through your mind, or you just? Yeah,
you do. I mean, you think. You can't. I think anybody would think that, especially you look at the age that they are. But poor Clyde. I mean, Clyde was like 44 years old. But yeah, you look and you see, just like I said a while ago, you think, gosh, even if I make it to that person's age, I only got X amount of years to go. So yeah, you can't. You gotta you got to think. I think everybody thinks about that kind of stuff, unless you're like real young.
Stephen Hawking passed away recently.
Yeah.
Billy Graham, he passed away recently. So, which is, I mean, people say, oh, you know, people are celebrities that pass. I mean, it happens. People get old and people pass.
You said it best. We all got an expiration date.
Yeah, we all do. And we don't know. It just happens. Some people.
What do they say? Nobody gets out of this alive.
Nobody. And it's crazy because you could be the perfect, most, you know, healthiest man out there, you know, work out, eat right, but you could make a wrong turn and get crushed by a bus.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Or you could eat junk food and you live to be 100 years old.
Yep.
So it's crazy. Speaking of things that don't last forever, it's marriages or engagements.
Oh, wow.
And we had that's a perfect segue to John Cena and Nikki Bella breaking up. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were going to talk about something else. You scared me there for a minute. But
No.
I don't know. That was sad. I guess sad. I think, and I don't really. This is something probably like with my stroke or whatever. Everybody wants to start talking about it and give your opinion. That's somebody's personal life, and I don't want to get into it. But just like when I look at it from afar, that was a tough. I think Hollywood or celebrity marriages are just really, really tough. I mean, the lifestyle, the average person, you just don't realize what kind of lifestyle both of those, especially John and Nikki, both were under. I mean, you can imagine when you look around at all the stuff that John is doing, especially since the engagement over, last year at WrestleMania. I mean, how many movies has he done? How many different appearances at wrestling shows in different cities every week? How many commercials does he do? How many times has he been on the Today Show? And he is in such demand. And the same thing with Nikki. I mean, I don't see how there's very much time that they can spend together to be in a real relationship. And I think what it kind of boils down to is, what are you going to put first? And I don't know how I just don't want to get into it too much because I don't know who broke up with who or whose idea it was. I don't know that kind of stuff, but I can just say that, I just know how tough that would have been to make that relationship last, given all the stuff that they're having to do with their careers.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of people. I mean, this is just as an outsider for the wrestling industry. You don't see a lot of wrestling relationships last for a long time.
No,
especially people who are full time on the road.
Yeah, it's just hard when you're on the road and you're not around. And you're not around your significant other that much.
Yeah. So Cena back on the market. I'm sure he'll be okay, and I'm sure Nikki Bella will be okay.
I'm sure they'll both be okay. And I don't know if I doubt that was the reason that this has happened, so that they could both, either one of them could be back on the market. I just think it's a career thing. I just think it's too much time and too little time for the relationship aspect of it.
Yeah. No, I get you.
They'll both be fine. I mean, they're going to remain friends. They probably, they're going to stay in love with each other and probably always will be. But it's just right now, I think the other things are coming first.
Yeah, definitely with John being like you said, movies and that whole aspect of his life going full time, like The Rock did the movies. It's just you're not home for a very long time. So,
and speaking of movies, I just had speaking of a couple of movies, my agent out in California, Michael, was telling me we were just talking last night, Mike Dacey, about movies. I mean, he gets to go. It's one of the cool things about being an agent out there in Hollywood. You get to go see the movies all the movies before they come out. He gets to go see them, kind of screen them and that sort of thing. And he said that the John Cena movie, Blockers.
Yeah.
He said it is so funny. He said you will just laugh out loud. It is so hilarious. And then I said, I want to see the Rock's movie. Oh gosh, what's the name of it? The big
Rampage.
Yeah, Rampage. Exactly, Rampage. And I said, I want to see that. He said, oh my gosh, that's really good too. And he said, before I went, he said a lot of people were saying it's like almost like a remake of King Kong. And he said, but I like King Kong, but he said it's not at all. It's just a whole totally different kind of movie. But he said it is really good. So there's, I mean, the Rock is just, my gosh, he's just, he is just on a roll right now. I mean, he's just probably the highest paid actor in Hollywood right now, and all his movies do well, and John Cena now, it looks like that he may follow right in that same path, which is cool.
Yeah, I love the Rock's movies. His TV show The Ballers on HBO is terrific about football, and being an agent is just amazing.
How does that's another thing. How does The Rock have time to do all the stuff that he does? It's unbelievable.
How does The Rock even have time to stay in the shape that he's in too?
I know it. Yeah, you got to spend hours a day in the gym.
I mean, this guy must never sleep. There's a Rock app, and the Rock app is like motivation to work. I actually probably should start using it. But you can set an alarm in the morning, and the Rock will wake you up. Like, he has messages like in the Rock's voice to wake you up. But there's also a feature that you can set your alarm to what the Rock sets his alarm for. So if the Rock sets his alarm at 4 a.m., that means your alarm is going to be 4 a.m. And it automatically syncs from his phone to the Rock app. And some of his alarms are like 3:30 a.m. or 4 a.m. I mean, this guy's up working out.
Oh yeah, can you imagine? Like, I mean, when they may start filming at 10 o'clock or something like that, or 9 o'clock early in the day for a to work on a movie, but you got to be in makeup like 4 hours before that, to get the makeup stuff done before you even start, the first piece of filming something. So yeah, it's not like you just walk in off the street and start filming a scene. You got to be in makeup for, usually it amounts to like 4 hours before you even get to, shoot something.
Well, the King didn't need 4 hours of makeup for his movie, right? I mean, you were
oh no, they did absolutely,
naturally gorgeous.
Listen, when we were doing Man on the Moon, it was almost like 4 hours of sitting there. I mean, they put a beard on me every day, my little king looking beard.
Yeah, the goatee.
Yeah, the goatee. They put that on me every day. It was just all the hair, the makeup and everything. It was unbelievable.
You should bring the goatee back. Can you grow it out? You think you can grow it out?
You know what? I can still use the one from the movie. It's down at my club. It's in a trophy case down at my club right now. I literally can go get it, put it right on with a little spirit gum glue stuff, and it looks just like the real deal.
Why don't you grow a natural one again? Could you do that, or would this be?
Yeah, it was a lot of trouble.
No.
Yes. Oh my gosh. My beard used to always look different every week because I would start trimming the one side and go, oh, wait a minute. Now that I look in the mirror, now I got to, that side's not even. Yeah. Now I got to cut a little bit off this side and then a little off the bottom. Oh, it was a lot of work.
You can still grow it though, you think, right?
Oh, sure. I could grow it. Yeah.
Would it be a little bit of gray or?
A little bit of what? A little bit of what?
A little bit of gray?
My mother always said, "Oh, I hate gray hair." My mother always cut her hair, and I followed right in her footsteps. I don't know why guys or anybody. I don't know why they let their hair go gray, especially in these days and times when you don't have to.
I found a gray hair in my beard the other day.
Ooh,
One,
what'd you do?
just one. Pulled it out. I don't want it.
Right.
Crazy? You crazy?
Now, hey, you know what? You're speaking of stuff like The Rock, where you said, "Here's to my last." I got an email from my manager that I was just talking about, my talent agent, in
Kinky
California.
Boots? What's Kinky Boots going? What's the update on that?
Kinky Boots. I said I can't do it. I can't. I mean, I looked at they wanted 8 weeks.
Come
They wanted
on,
me to do
King.
8 weeks. I can't go to New York and stay for 8 weeks
8
doing
weeks. In
this.
boots, in kinky boots.
Yeah, eight, and it was 8 shows a week. Whew.
My goodness, so you have one day that's 2 shows a day. I mean, it's every day, or I mean, you have one day that's 2 shows, 8 shows in 7 days. Jeez.
Yeah. What? I don't want to do that.
I know. I'm saying that's probably a good decision.
It's too much. So let me just say, let me see this thing about because you were talking about the Rocks thing, and this is a letter. It said, "Good afternoon." They just sent me this. I'm the co-founder of Cameo. Have you heard of Cameo?
Oh, Cameo, no.
I'm the co-founder of Cameo. It is an app that enables talent to make money from personalized videos for their social media followers.
Oh, I heard that. Okay, no, I think I've heard a different variation of it. Yeah.
We currently have over 1,200 entertainers and influencers on the platform, including Bret the Hitman Hart. Please check out our website. So it says cameos take about 10 to 15 seconds to record. You have 7 days to do Cameo or it expires. Customers don't get charged unless they receive their cameos. Boom, boom, boom. So anyway, some of our talent can make 10 grand a month in a couple of hours via our app. Would Jerry like to give it a try?
Well, couldn't you just do this on your own? Couldn't you just sell it through the website? Be like, hey, for X amount of money, I'll send you a personalized video, and I'll email it to you. Like, why do you need?
Oh yeah, of course you could, but then that would be a lot more trouble. Why not just have these people who already have, they have a company that's already out there that they do the advertising on. Yeah. That would probably reach more than my website would.
That's true.
And yeah. So I'm thinking about doing that.
So I can get a personalized message from Jerry the King Lawler.
Well, you're getting one right now, but yeah, then that's what you would get, a 10 to 15 minute personalized message from me. Personalized though, now I'll be talking to you.
What if you get an order from Glenn Moore? No, I would never pay for that. No, nothing against you. I just would never pay for a personalized message from somebody, not very genuine message from somebody. They're just doing it just because I paid them to do it.
Well, no, of course, but now, like, if you wanted, I mean, you got my phone number. You call me up, and we sit here and do these. Yeah, if you need a message from me, you can just you got the wherewithal.
I don't ask for that stuff though.
What if you wanted to say? I mean, I don't know if somebody would want this from. I mean, these are probably things you get for somebody for a birthday present or something. What if all of a sudden you wanted to give somebody that you really liked a phone call or a message from The Rock?
I'm sure The Rock doesn't sign up for that. He's not a part of that.
Well, I don't know. They said they got 1,200 entertainers.
Well, let's take a look at their list, though. I mean, I'm sure their list isn't star-studded. Maybe they.
Bret, okay, so Bret the Hitman Hart. So what if there's a huge Bret the Hitman Hart, and all of a sudden you wanted to say the people get a phone call, and there's Bret the Hitman Hart saying, "Hey Glenn, how you doing? Bret the Hitman Hart here, man. I just want to call and say happy birthday and wish you all blah blah blah." Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. The third person I see on here is Thaddeus Lewis. Remember him?
Thaddeus Lewis.
Remember him? Played quarterback for the Browns.
What?
He's on here. Let's see. Ryback's on here.
Ryback?
Chum Lee. Remember Chum Lee from Pawn Stars, the TV show? We probably don't know.
Oh, yeah. Really? He's on there?
Gary Owen, comedian. I don't really know. Bret the Hitman Hart. Here we go.
Hey.
Bret the Hitman Hart. I don't really know half these people, King. I'm sorry. I don't. Bobby Hall, yeah. Blackhawks hockey legend.
Yeah.
I don't know half these people.
Well, but still, I mean, what I'm saying is these like a Bobby Hull. I mean, where did he play?
Oh, Terrell Owens is on here. Terrell Owens, football player.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. I just think you could just do on your own, King, but whatever.
Okay. But anyway, I
get the premise. You know, you can, if I wanted someone for you to send a message to my dad for his birthday, I could have you say, "Hey, happy birthday, Mr. Moore. This is Jerry the King Lawler here."
Yep.
So
that's something they'd say forever.
Forever. I
got Ben Roethlisberger one time to do a thing like that for my son Brian, who, of course, Brian's a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Ben was on the show one day on Raw, and so I said, Ben, would you do me a favor? Would you just look here and say, Grandmaster Sexy, you're my favorite wrestler of all time? And he did that, and for Grandmaster Sexy, for Brian, that was like the highlight of his life. Just love that. So, some of these people like, Bobby Hull, wherever, I mean, there's some people that if they got a message from Bobby Hull, it would be the biggest thing that ever happened to them.
I don't think there's anybody out there looking for a message from Thaddeus Lewis, though, ex-Cleveland Browns quarterback. Thaddeus Lewis. I would want to order that just because it's Thaddeus Lewis.
Yeah.
I want to see his, really quick before we wrap the show up. I just want to see his price to see how much it is so I can get a message from Thaddeus Lewis, former Cleveland Browns quarterback. Oh, it doesn't.
What?
It doesn't. There's no price.
No price.
No.
How's that happen?
Oh, book now for $5.
What?
That may be a deposit.
I don't know.
I mean, he's had 62 people ask for a video. Oh, okay.
Well, there you go.
All right. Well, go ahead. Yeah, that'd be a nice, King. You could do that, right?
I don't know. That's just the kind of stuff that gets sent to my agent, Mike Dacey, out there, and then he forwards them on to me.
Yeah. All right, King. You're wrestling this weekend for the first time since your stroke?
We're wrestling this weekend. Well, of course, the match down there at
I thought you were going to say
WrestleCon.
I thought you were going to say the big.
I'm not going to say that. But anyway, yeah, I had that match. I put on my tights and stuff. I didn't have to take any bumps or anything. Threw a fireball.
Easy paycheck.
That was an easy paycheck. Let's see. Where am I this weekend? I'm going to be in Dyersburg. Or not Dyersburg. I already did that too. Bolivar. This is not too far from Memphis, about 65 miles or something. Bolivar Central High School, wrestling a guy named Bam Bam Bundy. And he went to Bolivar High School, and this is like his homecoming match. It's like the biggest match of his career ever in his life. That's going to happen Friday night, 7:30, Bolivar Central High School gym. And unfortunately,
he's a big podcast. He's a big fan of the podcast. I know that.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he always tweets at us.
Well, Well, you need to get him. I think you need to get him on that same diet that you're going to be on. What?
He's not going to like that. Be nice, King. Come on, be nice.
Well, he hasn't been nice to me. He said a lot of bad things about me before this. So anyway.
What could they possibly say bad about the King, though?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know.
Moving on.
He's managed to say something. Then the very next night, I'm going to be in College Station, Texas, home of Texas A&M, where Johnny Manziel went. Hey, is the Browns still looking at another Texas A&M quarterback? No,
Texas A&M quarterback.
No,
Oklahoma. I think that's the school you're thinking of. Big
and yeah, and you know what I just realized too? I'm just getting all excited about the Browns and who they're going to draft and everything. Now all of a sudden I'm realizing I think I'm gonna be in Saudi Arabia for the days of the draft.
Yes, Saudi Arabia, the greatest Royal Rumble show.
Yeah.
Friday, the 27th. That's already sold out. 60,000 people in that stadium, man. That's going to be a big show.
Yeah.
So you're going to be there, Saudi Arabia. You're going to be, I think what you said you're leaving. There. You're leaving, I think, the day before the draft or on the draft, and you're going to be gone the whole time.
Yep.
So how are you going to get your updates? Probably from me.
I don't know. Yeah, you're going to have to tweet me or do something to me. I don't know.
You got the international
I can't take this particular phone of mine over there. I'm going to have to get another phone to take some kind of international phone or something.
Can't you just get a SIM card and Get the international SIM card or whatever to put it
I
in?
don't know. I'm gonna check it out.
Get an iPhone.
I want to be able to be updated on the draft.
First and fourth picks. It's a huge draft.
Oh my gosh!
You're going to be in Saudi Arabia.
I heard Bruce Drennan say that this could be, if they do this right, they don't screw this up, the Browns could go from being not winning a game last year to being actually in contention to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers to win the division this coming year.
I can see that, yeah. But also, if they do it wrong, like they've been doing for the past decade, this could set the team back for another 5-10 years. Yeah,
but I think, man, I've got faith in our new general manager there. I really do.
You said that 2 general managers ago too.
No, I didn't. The last good general manager we had was Phil Savage.
I love Phil Savage.
Yep.
He was good. All right, King. We talked about a lot of rambling on this week's episode. No real concrete episode. But next week, Jim Cornette will be on the show. And then the following week, there's another guest.
Who? Well, how are you getting all these guests?
Well, he's another return guest.
Oh, okay.
Terry Funk.
What?
I gotta get.
I guarantee he'll make a lot of jokes about me still being alive.
Yeah, so we got to get Terry Funk's reaction to Jerry the King Lawler surviving a stroke. So Terry Funk,
God,
will be on the show in a couple of weeks. Next week is Jim Cornette. So looking forward to these next 2 episodes of Dinner with the King. Cornette's going to be great.
Yeah, because I guess we talked about that. He hates the guy that does that the match that I had down at WrestleCon, right?
Yeah, and he loves you.
Yeah, so what will he think about me being involved in something like that? I can't wait to hear that myself.
I think he'll give you a pass since it involves you. I think that but you never know. He might have hated it. I have not heard a reaction from him, but maybe he'll give his on the show next week. So everybody listen in. And King, any final words?
Final words? Don't ever ask me for final words. I don't know. No, just look forward to next week. Stay out of the snow. You were up in the snow yesterday. Yesterday, and you wake up in Cleveland and you got a blizzard going yesterday.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
It was terrible. Buy the King's t-shirts, prowrestlingtees.com/Jerry Lawler. Buy a t-shirt.
Yes.
Take a picture of you wearing it. I'm sure the King will retweet it. But 6 designs, old school designs from Jerry the King Lawler. So go to Pro Wrestling Tees, check it out, buy a t-shirt from the King. So we'll talk to everybody next week here on Dinner with the King.
The preceding show is a Pod Avenue production.